This is Jetting Up with B-Reich and Bryan Foti. A pleasant good evening, everybody. I'm Bryan Foti, alongside my co-host, Bryan Reichert. Bryan, what's going on tonight, man?
I'm feeling good, Bryan. Really excited to talk about our camp experience. A lot of fun, man. Ready.
Yeah, Jets camp was good. We were out there at Florham Park watching the Jets practice.
Bright and early.
Yeah, 8:20. I like that from Adam Gase. Early start time instead of what Todd Bowles did, 1 o'clock. Now following the Twitter updates, you can get them right when you wake up in the morning. It's a nice, good little feeling. So camp was fun. We saw a lot of things, met some cool players, especially the Prez, Jamal Adams, my boy. Was a really good experience, and out in Florham Park, everybody was very nice. We had a really good experience with it. So I guess I'll start. What was your favorite part about it so far?
Well, I gotta admit, it was pretty funny as soon as we pulled up, seeing Ira from Staten Island in the parking lot. I mean, that was great. And thank God I watched that episode of One Jets Driver.
Oh yeah, there he was.
What he looks like.
Yeah.
But you put two and two together. That was pretty awesome to start it out. But I thought they did a great job. The facility looks incredible. The field's perfect. Tons of people helping out. A lot of good buzz. And I liked everything. I thought the Jets did a really nice job. I thought Gase ran a good practice, good tempo, tons of different periods, different stations. But I thought it was nice. It was a good experience for sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was my first time out to Florham Park.
When was the last time you were at a
Jets training camp? Probably 2013 when I went up to Cortland to meet Rex Ryan and all that.
How would you compare it to now?
It's definitely different because when you go up, the college atmosphere feel was a little bit different. You kind of were in like a secluded town, where it was just at their training facility. But it was about like kind of the same thing, with the practice field. Just it was at the Jets training facility, which was cool. But they had the same setup. I think this is a little bit easier for the players. They still stay in a hotel, but it's not a college dorm room, so I think they make it a little bit easier on them. Where in the past, where at Cortland or when they were at Hofstra staying in the dorms, it was, hot, no AC. You had to bring the AC in. I remember seeing on a couple of Hard Knocks, they do the drill or the bed count on the thing, and you see the guys with the air conditioning and the little TVs playing video games in the room. But I think it's easier on the players, but it's a nice little facility over there out in Florham Park. It's very secluded, but I thought they did a nice job, the Jets.
Yeah, and when you were actually watching practice, like what kind of stood out to you? What'd you like about what you saw, out there from the guys?
Yeah, the first thing I noticed was Kelechi Osemele is a huge man. He is massive, and he was a big dude. He was out there getting, he was out there getting it, pushing the line and scrimmage back. I really like what I saw from him. Another thing I liked was Le'Veon Bell. A lot of question marks about him coming into the season. Was he out of shape? They said 260. Posting the Instagram, he looked shredded. So we saw him.
Great.
He looked good. He was running
hard. How about
hard.
when he disappeared?
Oh, the fans are going nuts. Where did he go? He jogged off the field. That was the day he got drug tested. So that was his NFL. So that was cool. But he came back out, signed autographs for everybody. I almost got the autograph for him, but he ran down the other way. But it's all good. But he looked good, and and Sam played well. He made some good throws, and
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, Sam looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, he just looked like a leader out there. He was running the show, and the other thing I liked was the offensive plays. Just looked, very interesting, very dynamic, very unique. A lot of different looks, moving guys in a lot of positions. I mean, they had Le'Veon spaced out a lot, one-on-one with the middle linebacker, which is always a great matchup for him. And, it really looked like Gase was kind of gelling with these guys offensively, at least early.
Yeah, I thought, did they happen to run a reverse in the practice that they did?
They actually ran a reverse that Quincy took, and he ran and actually threw back to Darnold, who then looked downfield. but actually chose not to throw it. But that was a play that I've never seen the Jets run.
Yeah, we haven't seen that since probably since Bill Parcells was the coach when they would run that. But yeah, I haven't seen reverses. So you could definitely tell that Adam Gase is an offensive-minded NFL head coach. And I think with Sam Darnold, he's going to do wonders. It's going to be also beneficial for Sam too with the development. And I think they're going to be a good pairing. If as long as everyone can stay healthy, I think this is going to be a good pairing. Gase kind of knows how to call plays. He's kind of got a read. You've heard him talk about it. I know he said it, I think the day after we were there. He said the next practice that he is like he wants to rip it, let it go. He's a true leader. So Darnold's got the goods. So I love the play calling that we saw.
Yeah, it looked like he started to expand the playbook and kind of it looked like he trusted Sam to really make the reads and kind of use the guys right. And another guy that really popped, and we'll talk a little bit more about the offense. Ty Montgomery, man, just talk about a Swiss Army knife, could do it all. What do you think about him out there?
Oh, he's another guy that's going to be a weapon in this offense, man. I really like what I saw from him.
Have you seen much of him play throughout his career?
I saw a little bit in Green Bay when he came in. I didn't see much when he was a receiver in college, but I saw when he came on the scene in Green Bay, he had a couple of nice runs. And, in the camp that we were there, he bursted a big one, 40 yards up the sideline. Bell went out at that time, so he was stepping in, but really was ripping off big chunks of yardage.
Yeah, made some plays for sure.
Yeah, so that's another guy that's going to be your number 2 running back and spell Le'Veon Bell. Just another weapon, and the thing that I love about him, I mentioned before, he was a receiver, so he can catch the ball out of the backfield too.
They kind of had both of them in on a couple of shotgun looks with Sam, which looked pretty good.
Yeah, they spread them 5 wide, Bell, Montgomery, and then the 3 wideouts. I mean, they're going to have some. I think they're going to create some mismatches. They have
some playmakers and some mismatch guys, and I think it's all just, Gase getting these guys on the field, using their talents and getting some production out of them, because there are guys that can make some plays out there on the offense.
Yeah, and another guy I saw, I know Herndon, he didn't really do much in the practice that we saw.
Couple nice plays.
But he had a couple of nice catches. I think Robbie Anderson had a nice catch, back shoulder throw that Sam found him. So the offense was really grooving that day. And, another guy that you wanted to mention, I know you said that you really were impressed with, was Quincy Enunwa.
I mean, he was an absolute beast. I mean, he was literally abusing Darrell Roberts up and down the field. He was open nonstop, just an absolute athlete, and really taking advantage of some matchups. And he just looked really good out there, and he almost looked like he was our number 1 at times, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's an underrated, quiet, he could, like we said, coming in our offseason show, we have a lot of Bs, but some of these guys have potential. And Quincy Enunwa was definitely a guy.
Tough dude, man.
Yeah, he's physical, and he can run. He can go over the middle,
It's a great point. Over the middle, him and Crowder are so active over that middle, those two guys. And, they both complement each other well. And, I mean, I think those two guys in Herndon, I mean, if Robbie could just expand over the top a little bit, I think these guys can really help over the middle and, get Darnold some, big first downs when we need it.
Definitely. And I think this offense is definitely in position this year to really put some points up as long as they can block. And speaking of the offensive line, I mentioned Osemele in the front, but, that was a good showing. I like the way Harrison played at the center position. He looked pretty good out there. And then you also had, Brian Winters. I know you're not a big fan of him. Adam Gase has said, I thought the O-line looked pretty good. There wasn't really any gaping holes like that were coming in for sacks.
I thought they won the day. I thought the offense was aggressive. I thought they were pushing guys. I mean, I know we saw a couple of one-on-one drills, and Beachum looked good. I mean, him and Osemele really were setting the tone, pushing those guys around and letting them know about it.
Yeah, and the offense was good, and that was the other thing I mentioned at the front. Osemele's just a big dude. He was huge.
Yeah, he was a man, a full-grown man out there pushing people around.
So I'm excited he's on our team this year. But
definitely.
Moving on to the other side of the ball on the defensive side, what did you really like out of the defense? I know they didn't really make too many plays, we said, but there were some things in positional drills.
Yeah, what I really liked was, I think, a lot of the linebacker drills were right in front of us during the individual time, so you really got a chance to get a look at how CJ and Avery get to work and how they're really at the top of their game. at such a young age, and they're the leaders of the defense. Very under control, helping guys out. Going full speed, making these guys work hard, and that's what I thought. I thought the two inside linebackers looked really good. They impressed me the most. How about you?
Yeah, I like the way they look too. Watching CJ, the linebacker drills were good. They tackled. I got to look a little bit at the defensive line. Ja'Kai Polite didn't really do much. We were looking at that.
He disappointed me for sure.
Yeah, that was something that we were looking into, and we were talking about McCagnon, as that guy being a big cog in the defense, and see how this whole draft class would go about. And he really was a no-show. Didn't really make any plays. Didn't get in. He was with the third team a little bit, was working in. But, Leonard Williams looked good. It was Quinnen Williams' first practice, actually. So he signed the contract. He actually did those push-ups right in the beginning to join the defense. So
man,
Q
how much do the fans love that guy, man?
Oh, they love him for sure. I mean,
shirts, everybody going crazy, screaming for him. I mean, the kids, the young fans, even the adults, everyone's excited about this guy.
Yeah, and they should be. He didn't really do much in the practice because it was his first NFL practice, but he's definitely got potential, and you could see it on some of the team drills. He looked pretty good. He looked quick on a couple of the moves, and he played. He got in with the third team a little bit. I think he worked in with the twos at the end, but he played pretty well in his opportunities, and that was another thing that I'm excited about with them. And then the defensive coordinator, Greg Williams, he was just loud all over the place. You could hear him. He's excited.
Energy.
Yeah, energy, and that's the thing too. Energy. These guys are playing with energy. Jamal Adams, even Marcus May, standing on the sideline, they're cheering each other on. They're all being, encouraging. Tremaine Johnson intercepted Sam Darnold. That was his first pick of training camp. So he's had a great camp thus far. So hopefully,
yeah, he's looked pretty good so far. Even though the corners did struggle a little bit. I mean, Poole got beat a couple times. I mentioned Roberts earlier. This is definitely a position that I think Douglas is going to have to look at, especially with the depth. I mean, I know Roberts is making good money and Tremaine is making a lot of money, but I'm just a little worried that these guys are going to be reliable when, the games start to kick off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Tremaine Johnson is like really your only corner that has experience there, and he wasn't that great last year, and he missed time with that quadriceps injury.
Now, do you think it was? You think he was banged up and it was kind of scheme related, or you think maybe he's just not? He got his money and he's kind of not worth it.
I don't know, because he got hurt a little bit in that first Detroit game and then came back in, and I don't know if he was the same, but then he hurt his groin in practice last year and missed 6 weeks or 5 games. So it was like, what is this guy doing? And then he got beat a couple of times, and against Buffalo, he got toasted.
He really looked confused out there at times, to be honest, too. He really didn't look comfortable a lot, and I felt like he never really – every time he kind of got in a groove, something kind of popped up and really derailed him from having any type of a good season.
Yeah, and he did have a couple of interceptions, but, I mean, he had the pick 6 against Tennessee, but he really didn't do much because in the meaningful games, he was getting cooked in a lot of the games and just getting beat on slant routes and looked slow. He looked slow for like a 70. That was the whole thing. To me, they said he ran fast when they got him. I remember this guy, but he looked slow last year. I don't know.
He was in St. Louis. I mean, he was flying around the field and using his length, and he looked really good. We really didn't see that player last year, and I'm hoping that this year he kind of takes that step. And he's had some good years, as we've mentioned, under Greg, and this is kind of his make or break year for me.
Oh yeah, if he has a bad year this year, I mean the Jets, he's not going anywhere because he has such a huge contract. But I mean they'll definitely, if he has a bad year, you're going to be looking to take I know we need receivers and we're going to need offense, but you're going to need cornerbacks too, because in this day and age in the NFL, you're going to need to cover too. So we'll see how he does, and that's why I think it's crucial. He's one of the more crucial pieces to this Jet team going into this year. Not so much as far as development, but if they want to compete and try to win, they need this guy to be a big player.
Listen, our pass rush is not elite, so if you can't get to the quarterback fast enough, you got to have guys that could cover. And I like the back end. I love Jamal. I think Marcus is going to be good when healthy, and we can finally see him out there and feel a lot better, And I know everyone has their doubts that he's even going to play, But I think he'll eventually get out there, and I think that they're good back there. But these corners, do worry me.
Yeah, these corners definitely. I wouldn't say they. I have to see them play. They do worry me a little bit because Darryl Roberts is not. I mean, he's the starter. They paid him starter money. But
$9 million, that's starting money.
Yeah, that's maybe one of the reasons McCagnon got fired because it's that to me I wouldn't have made that move, but I guess they didn't view anybody in the free agency pool to give it to, and then they tried to trade up for a corner in the second round, but they couldn't get the compensation, so the Sam Darnold trade hurt a little bit in that essence, giving it up.
Definitely.
But I think they'll be all right. You just got to kind of live and die and hope that Greg Williams can, scheme some things. The rookie from Akron has looked pretty good. Kyron Brown, number 40, he played some plays. He's moved up the depth chart on the twos, so he's looked all right. So I know he's played well. And, you got to hope maybe for some young guys. Parry Nickerson, another guy that we drafted last year in the 6th round, hasn't really done much.
He's got to do something, too. I mean, another guy, I know, the Jets aren't great at drafting, but you hope one of these late-round guys could pop. I mean, one guy who I thought looked pretty good and athletic was the guy Cashman. I thought he impressed me in the drills. I thought he looked active. I thought he looked super athletic, looked quick, good ball skills. So, he was a guy – kind of toward the end of the draft, who looks like he's kind of popping a little bit. I mean, he looked better than Polite, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he definitely. The coaches said they liked him. Adam Gase has raved about him. They raved about him in OTAs, and he was in with the twos.
And another thing that we have to discuss that we probably should have started the show with, but I totally actually forgot about it, but we have got to talk about this kicking situation.
Oh, boy.
Catanzaro was an absolute embarrassment.
Nightmare.
He kicked the field goal. He missed it. He moved up. He missed it again. He moved over, and he missed it again.
3 in a row.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. And if this guy doesn't kick well in the preseason, we're going to have
He was getting destroyed by the Jet fans. He looked awful out there.
Yeah, brutal. And, that's a thing, too, for a team when you want to compete. It would be a total shame to, have a good team if you're winning and then you're missing field goals, 30, 40
yards. Like the Bears
yards.
last year?
Yeah, like the Bears. Exactly like that, where the guy can't hit a field goal.
And the Jets happened to get a Pro Bowler last year when the games, obviously didn't mean too much. We were 4-12.
Guy went 7 for 7 in a game against the Colts. 7 for 7. That won't happen in a meaningful game this year. Guaranteed that. So, yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. And Adam Gase, after that practice, said, we don't have a kicking competition. This guy's our guy.
I would be flying in guys from all over.
Oh, yeah, there's guys out there.
Bryan, baby.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I liked the Catman 2 years ago, but you can't be missing 30-yard kicks in the NFL. You can't be 50, I can understand, but anywhere from 40 to 45, that's got to be a gimme. That's got to be a gimme. 45 plus,
no
okay. No rush. You're just kicking. It's practice right now.
Got one job to do, man.
And that was his one job in practice. And he came on, kicked 3 times, and we didn't see him again. He missed all 3.
No, we thought they cut him during the practice.
Oh, boy. Yeah. They're going to have a problem with that if he starts missing kicks in that Giant game. But we'll talk about that on the next episode when we break that game down. But hopefully he does well, because they need him going forward. Not that he's a crucial piece, but you need to have
an effective kicker.
Yeah, you need of course, every team does. So, and the punters, they looked all right. But a thing on punt return that we saw your boy Greg Dortch making some catches. It was against nobody,
him and Timmy White looked pretty athletic out there. I thought those two guys flashed a little bit. I don't want to sound like a homer for Dortch. He's my guy.
Oh, I'm a homer. I'm on your thing. I'm gonna root for him all day.
He's easy to root for, man. He's a tough dude, man.
Even though I did read a nice article about Tim White too, how he was living out of his car with his folks or whatever. So that's a nice story too. He's getting up there, been in the league for a while. So.
Yeah, I mean another guy, and he also was making some plays. I mean he looked quick. He looked good. The wide receivers really dominated those corners, man, I got to say. I mean, Tremaine made a super athletic play. It was probably Darnold's only mistake. But the wide receivers look good, man,
and
especially my guy Dortch.
Yeah, and that was a good play by Tremaine, too. But, yeah, Dortch looked good on the punts. We didn't really – the first teams when we were practicing and scrimmaging, we had we had the first teams down by us, so we didn't really get to see the reserves in team ball. So, but yeah, it was good. But the atmosphere of the practice, the fans were good. And, another thing that we got to do when the it wrapped up, we got the autographs. We walked down and,
absolute chaos.
Chaos.
I mean, and it's funny, as we go there and we're trying to really gather information and, really enjoy ourselves. But it is good to see all the kids and the fans going crazy. And, the Jets were great. I mean, guys were signing autographs, from the start. Tons of guys coming around. And, even the big guys. The highlight, which I'm going to let Bryan explain a little bit. But, Darnold was out there. Lev Bell came back out just to sign autographs for people. And, one of the highlights that, we'll probably talk about for a very long time was, Jamal Adams ran all the way down and said, everybody relax. I'm going to hit every single person up for an autograph. And, Bryan got to actually give, the Prez a gift. So, how was that moment like?
That was cool, man. Like, I'm a city firefighter, so it was cool. We gave him a company hat. So hopefully he's going to wear it on First Responder. And I think he will. He took it. So that was a good thing. And we got a picture. Didn't get any autographs.
Shout out the company, though. Shout out the company.
Well, that's my firehouse, 311. It's all good. We're the
Shout
best
out to
in
the
Queens.
311 boys, man.
So, it's all good. But, so it was a nice moment. As a fan, you like to – I'm not huge into autographs and getting pictures, but it was cool to, meet a player and have a conversation about him. And he was sweaty because he just got done running gases. But he was a cool kid. And, he's into it. He's very excited, and, he's definitely going to be one of the vocal leaders of this team. Probably right now, him and Sam are the face of the franchise. And, I'm hoping he does well. I hope he wears the hat on the First Responder night.
That would be awesome if you wore your hat on First Responder.
He's wearing, he has all these other hats. So he had his top hat on, or the sombrero. It looked like in the media. I looked on Twitter when we got home. He was wearing that one. So he didn't wear it the first day, but I'm sure he'll put it on eventually. I hope it fits him. That was the one thing. I got those flex fit small mediums. He's got a big head of hair. But I think he'll figure it out how to get it on.
It was awesome. It was awesome to give him a gift. He gives so much to all the fans. So
well, they don't expect that either. They're just expecting to sign stuff.
No, he was grateful, and he shared a little personal moment with Bryan, and he was very respectful, and he thanked Bryan for all that he does, and and for all firefighters, and how much they do for us to take care of us. So it was nice to see a young guy, a leader with that perspective, and it was a great moment, and it was awesome to take a picture of Bryan and the Prez, and that's a moment that was definitely the highlight for me, and I wasn't even in the picture. It was just great to see your face and how awesome it was for you to have that moment.
Yeah, man, it was good. It was awesome. Happy that you were there too. We met. I know you tried to get into Sam Darnold too with the thing, and you're trying to give him a hat. I'm like, he's just gonna sign it because everybody it was all mobbed and people were throwing stuff at him. And,
we were trying to give some hats out, but it was pretty tough. There were a lot of Jet fans and you kind of feel bad because a lot of them are kids, man. So
I wasn't
the
gonna
kids are all about
of course,
it, so.
Exactly. They got to get all the autographs. I remember. When I was at Met spring training, it was like a mob scene when these guys would run on. Like, I remember Carlos Beltran came out one time, and it was like they're like pigeons that just flock to the bread when you throw it. It's crazy. So, and the same thing here. We got lucky that Jamal Adams ran down to our side of the field.
The only one that came down.
One. Yep. So I remember that I told him when we were talking, I said, when I met Rex, we got a picture with Rex, me and my other buddy, we went to the other side of the field, and he walked over, and the security came down. It was nice. So I said, let me try it again, maybe like a player one. He was the first player, and thank goodness it was a popular one, because there were some backups, too, son, that I had no idea who they were. But they were giving the autographs, and the kids were all screaming just the same. But they may not even be on the team come 3 weeks. But
it's got to be the best part about being a pro athlete is just seeing how excited the kids get for you to just sign a helmet or a poster or a ball. And, I mean, the Jets were awesome. I mean, Sam and Jamal stayed for hours just signing every single thing that they could. Tons of guys came around for the kids, and the Jets did a pretty good job of keeping everyone in the same area, and And I thought that was great. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, the way it was set up was nice, and it was cool. And then, we got the lead. We saw the Jet Fest where they had the 10, and the cheerleaders were over there. They had some food. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good day, a great experience for us. And, definitely I would go back next year and in the coming years for training camp. I liked I had a really great experience. I just wish they would fix their parking situation. They got to work on that. But I can't knock them too much because it's not really a normal event. So, as we wrap things up here, we've got a couple minutes left. So it was a fun experience at Jet Training Camp. But it's about that time again. We're going to get ready for the 2-minute drill. All right, my man, it's time for the 2-minute drill.
All right, bring it on, Foti. What do you got?
All right, I'm asking questions first. What was your coolest camp moment?
Well, probably my favorite moment was definitely taking the picture of you and the Prez, man, by far.
Okay, what did you think of the Jets' Florham Park practice facility?
I thought it was awesome, man. They got the big screens, they got the scoreboard, they got the 3 big fields, super close to the facility. And like you said, it was a little spaced out, a little away from everything, but I really liked it. I thought it was, grade A facility for sure.
Yeah, now our Jersey fans are not probably going to like this question, but do you think it's too far from New York? Because the Jets fan base, most of them are on Long Island. Do you prefer them having their practice facility on Long Island in New York, or are you cool with it in Jersey?
Listen, Jersey fans got to deal with us. I mean, the stadium is in New Jersey. I would love some New York, Long Island love for training camp, man. Bring it back to Hofstra, baby.
Yeah, there we go. I wanted it Hofstra too. Now, which players stood out the most in the practice?
Well, I got to tell you, stood out the most, and it's because, I just got a crush on the guy. I can't stop watching him. He's my favorite pickup. I love him. I loved him in college. I thought he was an absolute stud, and I can't believe he's on the Jets. C.J. Mosley, easily my favorite guy to watch, and I just love seeing, up close how good the guy is. He's unbelievable. All right, Foti, you ready for yours?
Oh, yeah, let's get it.
Does Darryl Roberts have any chance of a good season this year? Is he going to be worth the $9 million?
Absolutely. I think he's definitely got a chance. I mean, the guy played safety a couple of games. He's a versatile player. I don't think he's going to get cooked every game. I think he's going to battle. I think he's going to show you that, he'll make plays at times. I think he's going to be okay. And I don't know if he's definitely going to be like a monster, but he's definitely going to have a chance to have a good season.
Okay. Now, besides meeting the Prez and giving him your company hat, what was your favorite part of camp?
My favorite part of camp was just watching the drills, from my days in playing football, just getting all that stuff, right, in practice, seeing everybody hit, watching the guys play, the special teams portion of it, just watching the players I like Quinn doing the push-ups. I thought that was pretty cool with Greg Williams and all that,
awesome,
so
sure.
that'd probably be one of my favorite parts of the day.
Now, what concerned you the most?
What concerned me the most? In all these practices, I noticed, a couple of guys ran, and they were backups, but I feel like the conditioning and the injuries, there were a lot of, guys running in and out of the huddles. So as far as the team staying healthy, that's a big concern because in these practices, especially with the new CBA, I think that kind of hurts them. They don't do as much in the spring, so I think little injuries tend to pop up more, and especially with Twitter, Twitter, when they have an injury come up, they go panic mode and go crazy. So I think that's concerning, and I think that's due to the CBA.
My last question, which rookie or undrafted free agent did you think stood out the most?
Which rookie? I like Greg Dortch, man. He really played well. He impressed me in the punt return. He made a guy miss. The kid from Fresno State, 49, the linebacker, impressed me too. He made a couple nice plays, but I don't think he's got much of a chance to make the team. And I know a guy who's definitely not going to make the team. I hate to knock him because you loved his brother, but CJ's brother did not look good in the linebacker drills.
Jamie Mosley.
Yeah, Jamie did not look that great in the linebacker drills. But that's a 2-minute drill, and that's a show for you. Remember, tune in again next week as we will break down the Giants preseason game. We've got more camp news, and then we're also going to preview the Atlanta Falcons game in that episode. So we're going to get rolling on this Jetting Up podcast as we get closer to the regular season, and it gets more exciting as we progress more. So for now, I'm Bryan Foti for my co-host B-Reich. We will talk to you real soon. Everybody enjoy your night, and always remember to jet up.